Psychology is a very interesting aspect of humanity. Every person is supposedly unique, but experts claim that people behave in the exact same manner for a large part of their lives. In fact, psychology suggests that people can be stereotypical and that you can use these stereotypes or generalizations as a way of getting the edge. Women are the exact same, and through many years, we've learned a couple of interesting facts about them and their natural behavior. You see, new science has shown that people can indeed be stereotypically categorized, which means certain facts about women often set them apart from men. Today, we explore some of these fascinating psychological facts, which should give you a brand new perspective on how you see and perceive women. These will naturally assist you quite a lot in the world of dating. This will allow you to have some insight into the female mind. Do all women think the same? One of the biggest questions many of you might be having is whether or not all women think the same way. Since psychology aims to create some stereotypes, many people forget about some of the other psychological factors that could often lead to how women differ. One of the most important elements is how she grew up, whether or not they experienced any severe childhood trauma and the influences around them. Whilst women naturally seek an assertive kind of person, this is not always possible and leads women to naturally developing more of an assertive personality as well. Women, by nature, desire the same thing, regardless of who she is and the trauma they might have experienced from a young age. However, the only major difference is the fact that these desires are hidden, and women must show their personalities. The big problem with many men is when they focus on a woman's personality instead of the natural primal desires that she wants. Once you revert to understanding her primal desires, it becomes that much easier, and you can tailor your approaches to make it a little easier when it comes to women and focus on her desires. As mentioned in many of our previous videos, women mainly desire comfort in the form of protection and someone who would provide for them. In this video, we'll be discussing the 11 most important psychological factors about women that you might not have known, and this could make the biggest difference to your dating success. Number 1. Women love hardcore men. Have you ever seen men in movies like Rocky, Rambo, and many other action movies? One of the common trends you find is that the man always puts himself at risk. Visually, he often appears hardcore, and it looks like he's someone powerful. You see, this hardcore personality looks like it's someone who can take risks and always protect a woman. Women feel naturally drawn to this, and it's why these action figures have become so popular among women. The big issue is that you, being a normal man without any superpowers, stuntmen, or special effects, will find it extremely hard to portray such a character in such a way. The best way to do so as a man is to get rid of all your fears as soon as possible. You see, women are drawn to these hardcore risk takers, and this is what a normal man can become. Ideally, you want to make it seem as if you're risking your life, but we're not encouraging anyone to take any risks that could endanger themselves. However, by creating a social media page where it seems like you're living a life that could be interesting, you're already one step ahead. Women will always gravitate toward the risk takers and the men who risk themselves. This shows sacrifice and willingness to accomplish something at any cost. Number 2. Smelling great can make a big difference. One thing that many men often forget about is how women work when it comes to smell. You see, the smell sense is one of the most powerful for women, and this will naturally be one of the first observations, aside from your appearance, they will see. Numerous psychological studies have proven that if you manage to smell great, you can add around 3 to 4 points in the eyes of women. This means that if she sees you as a possible 5 or 6, you can end up being an 8 or a 9 just by adding a good cologne. The big issue might be that you're a little bit stressed about which cologne for you. For most men, you want something with a strong scent that's noticeable among other fragrances. You also want to have a smell that allows you to feel more masculine. Women naturally react quite well to smell, and we would encourage you to put in the effort to ensure you're clean and you always smell your very best. Number 3. Women like players. One of the biggest misconceptions is the fact that men think women are only looking for the natural Prince Charming, who only focuses on a single woman and is driven to marry. The issue is that this is boring when women don't have any competition or if they don't need to fight for something. In an ideal world, you'd think that it'd be great to have a guy who's doing everything he should and who doesn't even look at other women. If this happens, it often sets the stage perfectly for both people to continue working towards something functional and build a solid relationship. But the reality is that women desire men who are in hot demand. You see, social proof and women believe that when a man is in high demand from other women, he must have something powerful to offer. Now, this doesn't mean you should become a player, but rather just focus on being yourself and talking to other women. You see, the main goal is not to make her jealous, it's just to be yourself and to communicate with others. If she becomes frustrated with this, you're not doing anything wrong, but it naturally shows that she is feared. Number 4. Women love playing games. Nobody hates it more than men when it comes to playing these passive-aggressive games. Unfortunately, women like playing games, which makes it easier for them to gauge whether a man is actually interested in it or not. You see, she might naturally pull away or even consider ghosting you for absolutely no reason. This generally is one of her ploys to see how you would respond. In fact, she's looking for you to respond negatively to give her a reason not to date you. You'll face numerous tests during your relationship and in the initial stage. However, the power of stoicism should be ideal to help you overcome these. In fact, we've created numerous videos discussing this specific situation and how women would try to use games to gain the upper hand. Number 5. Women love to tease you. Another one of the fascinating things that you're bound to realize is that women naturally love to tease their partners. You see, seduction is one of the most powerful ways in which you can easily establish sexual tension. You see, sexual tension is perhaps the most important element when it comes to relationships, and this is something that both men and women will naturally crave. By teasing their partners, women not only manage to expand the level of sexual tension, but they can also gauge the self-control of a man. Unfortunately, many men are too impatient to play the game of dating women, and they want to head to the bedroom as soon as possible. However, when it comes to women, you'll often need to go through some of these motions to enhance the sexual tension. So, one of the most powerful tools that women like to do is to tease their partners. Number 6. Women love men who don't overreact. One of the biggest issues in the modern era is the fact that no one seems to be patient. Nowadays, it's much easier to simply overreact and blame things on someone else. This means that a man who can simply endure tumultuous times and issues will have it much easier when it comes to women. If you don't overreact to things that happen, you seem in control of yourself and your natural emotions. This is precisely what women want to know, since it can signal that you're someone who can overcome challenges later in life. As mentioned in previous videos, women want a man who can remain calm in the face of danger and turmoil. We would recommend looking at some of our previous videos on stoicism to see how easy it can be for you to remain calm and confident in the face of adversity. You'll realize just how many more women will choose you when they see you handle drama and conflict in a very diplomatic manner. Number 7. Women always want to feel safe. This one is one of the most powerful ones that you'll ever need to understand. You see, the world is not only dangerous, but tons of emotional issues often cause a lot of trouble. It's also worth noting just how complicated the world has become. One of the biggest issues is that men are not built the same, and nowadays you have men who struggle significantly when it comes to the world. Many men simply don't dare to live a life of their own, and they need the support and assistance of others if they are to actually accomplish something. Unfortunately, women are the same, and many women also have a fear of the same issues that life will naturally throw their way. One of the biggest desires that women have is to feel safe and to know that their partner is powerful enough to help them endure some of these tumultuous times. If you manage to work hard for yourself and you can gain some resources, you'll be in a position to make women feel safe. Now, many men would say that these women are simply gold diggers, but this is not the case. It's not about finding someone who has money to spoil them, but rather to find someone who can help them survive through life. Number 8. Women are naturally more emotional. One of the most common things you should know is that women are naturally more emotional. You see, women feel things much deeper than men, and this is why they tend to react emotionally when something goes wrong. Yes, this also means that when in a relationship, the impact on women is far more severe than it is for men. When a woman tells you how she feels, you can be sure that these feelings are deep. However, many men are too insecure to actually understand the severity of a woman's emotions. It's also worth noting that many men have found themselves in such a weak mental position that they often perceive themselves as also being emotional and feeling the same feelings to such a deep level. This means that as a man, you should naturally take more care of female emotions, as this will also make her feel even more comfortable and have her trust you more. We would recommend that you don't dismiss the female emotions, which would significantly help to build trust between the two of you. Number 9. Women will accept dates for food. Yep, you heard that correctly. Women can be rather vicious when it comes to meeting their own personal needs. Unfortunately, it might be rather daunting for women to survive in the world, or perhaps she just feels the desire to have something that will satisfy her needs, like a great dinner. One of the biggest frustrations that you should note is that many women will simply use you for a free meal. But this is where you have to be stern and force her to work for the relationship. One of the things we recommend is to clearly tell her before you go on the date that it's important to split the bill. You see, many women now feel empowered and will constantly remind you just how they're forging their way through this tough world. If she wants to be the kind of person who insists on these things, you should allow her to pay her half of the date. Now, I know this goes against every gentlemanly thing you've ever been told. However, there's absolutely no use in allowing yourself to be only used for a good meal. We would recommend that you rather take the time to screen women. However, if you've been one of the unlucky victims who have had to endure this frustration from women, we would recommend that you simply ignore it and allow them to believe that you're fine with whatever happens. This is what's called the Stoic approach. Number 10. Women care how they look during intimacy. You might think that women don't care how they look when it comes to being intimate with their partners. You see, we all know how much she cares about how she looks when she wants to initiate intimacy. However, women also care quite a lot about how they look during intimacy as well. You might notice that she doesn't say this, but many men have this desire to have her be as submissive as she possibly can. All this is fine when it comes to women, but you still need to treat them with some dignity and respect. You see, dignity and respect are something that she'll appreciate, especially when it comes to a relationship. We would recommend that you always try to treat women with dignity and respect when you're just finished being intimate. However, when it comes to the physical act, women love a man who can be assertive and someone who will make her feel like he's in charge. Number 11. Women have more options than you. To drop a little more knowledge on you, which can be considered a secret among women, is the fact that women will have far more options than you. A study done on Tinder has shown that women find far fewer men attractive than the comparison of men who find women attractive. In essence, you need to be far more attractive than many other men. With women being so high in demand, you should note that they'll naturally have more options than you, especially in relationships. The big difference will be how you react, and many men often act extremely weak, allowing these various options to become an issue. We would once again encourage you to check out our videos on Stoicism if you are to truly understand what's the best way to deal with this. As complicated as you think women are, these 11 basic psychological facts are all true. When you break them down, you'll see how they all pertain to human nature. The only problem is that these will never turn a woman on by itself. We recommend you check out the next video to see how you can turn on any woman with a couple of secrets.